Hello friends. Welcome to Defense Matrix. On this channel you will get fully information about defense and technology. Let's view the video. How a single Swedish submarine sunk the $6.2 billion carrier, the $6.2 billion beast. Why the USS Ronald Reagan was considered unsinkable. The USS Ronald Reagan isn't just any aircraft carrier, it's a floating city of war, a symbol of U.S. military dominance that cost over $6.2 billion to build. Stretching over 1,090 feet and housing more than 5,000 crew members, this nuclear-powered supercarrier was built to withstand the most advanced threats from air, sea, and below. Armed with cutting-edge radar systems, multi-layered defenses, and surrounded by a protective fleet, it was often considered untouchable, especially by smaller nations or limited naval powers. This warship wasn't just about size. It was equipped with dual nuclear reactors, providing almost unlimited operational range, and could launch over 90 aircraft, including fighter jets, electronic warfare planes, and surveillance drones. Its design incorporated advanced electronic countermeasures, state-of-the-art sensors, and an air wing that could dominate any theater of conflict. To even approach this vessel undetected, let alone simulate a sinking, seemed impossible. Military planners believed its carrier strike group, CSG, consisting of cruisers, destroyers, and submarines, created an impenetrable wall of defense. It represented not only firepower but the confidence of global naval supremacy. So how could something so powerful, so protected, so technologically superior, fall prey to a single small submarine from a much smaller nation? That's the question that shook the U.S. Navy and stunned defense experts across the world. Because the unthinkable did happen, not in war, but in a military exercise. And what came next was a massive wake-up call not just for the U.S., but for every naval power on the planet. Enter the silent hunter, meet the Gotland-class Swedish submarine. In the shadows of global naval forces, Sweden quietly developed one of the most advanced stealth submarines the world had ever seen, the Gotland-class. Unlike nuclear-powered behemoths, the Gotland wasn't built for brute strength or massive firepower. It was crafted for silence, precision, and lethal invisibility. What makes the Gotland-class truly terrifying is its air-independent propulsion (AIP) system. This advanced technology allows it to operate submerged for weeks at a time without surfacing, an advantage that gives it a ghost-like quality under the sea. Most diesel-electric submarines need to snorkel regularly, revealing their position. But the Gotland glides through the deep virtually undetectable. Its stealth capabilities are so impressive that even the most advanced sonar arrays struggle to pick it up. With its rubber-coated hull, quiet electric motors, and noise-isolated systems, the Gotland is the underwater equivalent of a ninja. It's also relatively small, which adds to its elusive profile. Despite its size, it carries heavy torpedoes capable of taking down large warships. But its most valuable weapon is surprise. The submarine is designed to creep through defensive perimeters undetected and strike when no one even realizes it's there. When the U.S. Navy borrowed the Gotland and its crew in 2005 for wargames, they didn't expect much. It was a chance to test their anti-submarine capabilities, right? What followed would become one of the most shocking military simulations in modern naval history. The Gotland didn't just evade detection, it successfully sank the USS Ronald Reagan, slipping past every layer of defense without being noticed. This silent hunter had just proved that even the biggest giants can fall with the right mix of innovation, precision, and strategy. The war game that shook the world. The day the carrier was sunk, it was supposed to be just another naval exercise, a chance for the mighty U.S. Navy to demonstrate its dominance in anti-submarine warfare. With the USS Ronald Reagan leading the fleet and a ring of advanced destroyers and cruisers defending it, the scenario seemed simple: detect and neutralize a foreign submarine trying to attack the carrier. But this was no ordinary opponent. Enter the Swedish Gotland-class submarine, stealthier than anything the U.S. Navy had faced before. Brought in as a training adversary, the Gotland was expected to test the fleet's sonar operators and give crews valuable experience. Instead, It delivered a nightmare scenario that exposed devastating flaws. In a highly classified simulation, the Gotland silently infiltrated the carrier strike group's defensive bubble. It slipped past sonar nets, avoided detection by helicopters and destroyers, and navigated the high-security zone as if it were invisible. Then came the shock. The submarine managed to position itself within torpedo range of the USS Ronald Reagan, and in simulation terms, delivered the kill shot. The $6.2 billion supercarrier, once deemed unsinkable, had been sunk by a submarine a fraction of its size and cost. For military analysts watching the scenario unfold, it was like watching a lion brought down by a mosquito. The wargame forced the U.S. Navy to confront a harsh reality. In modern warfare, stealth can trump strength, and advanced doesn't always mean invincible. This single event sent ripples through global military circles. Naval strategies had to be rethought, sonar systems re-evaluated, and the U.S. began urgently upgrading its anti-submarine capabilities. The wargame wasn't just a simulation, it was a turning point in understanding the future of naval warfare. How could this happen? The shocking flaws in U.S. naval defense. For decades, the U.S. Navy was seen as unstoppable. Its carrier strike groups, CSGs, were floating fortresses, equipped with cutting-edge sonar, destroyer escorts, and anti-submarine aircraft, a web of defense designed to neutralize any underwater threat before it even came close. So when a Swedish Gotland-class submarine breached this fortress and simulated the destruction of the USS Ronald Reagan, the world was left asking one terrifying question: how could this possibly happen? The truth is, the U.S. Navy had grown overconfident, relying heavily on legacy detection systems designed for older generation submarines, especially large nuclear-powered ones. These systems weren't built to detect smaller, ultra-quiet diesel-electric subs equipped with air-independent propulsion, AIP, like the Gotland. The U.S. was also used to tracking noisy Soviet-era subs during the Cold War. But the Gotland was a different beast, coated in sonar-absorbent materials, operating silently, and generating almost no acoustic footprint. By the time U.S. forces realized the sub was in attack position, it had already won the wargame. Worse, traditional sonar struggles in shallow or noisy waters, giving submarines like Gotland a massive tactical advantage. Helicopters and surface ships were simply blind to this level of stealth. The exercise exposed a gaping hole in the Navy's defensive strategy, a threat they didn't see coming from a nation no one expected to challenge them. As a result, the U.S. Navy immediately re-evaluated its anti-submarine warfare (ASW) training, invested in new sonar technology, and began developing countermeasures against next-gen diesel-electric submarines. This wasn't just a failed simulation. It was a wake-up call that even the most advanced militaries are vulnerable, especially when facing innovative, stealth-based threats that rewrite the rules of war. A wake-up call. How this event changed global naval strategy forever. After the Gotland's stunning success, navies around the world took notice. Countries began investing more in stealth submarines, AIP technology, and asymmetric naval tactics. The U.S. Navy, humbled, poured resources into anti-stealth sonar, undersea drones, and retraining its forces for a new era. The game had changed. Submarines were no longer just hunters, they were ghosts of the sea, capable of crippling global powers. And with this one exercise, the balance of naval power shifted forever. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel Defense Matrix for more interesting and knowledgeful videos.